Celebrating each and every step together is a joy of achievement. On this note, I, Vaishri and Kamakshi, on behalf of our APID family, welcome our guest of honor, Architect Yashin Vibhakar, proud parents, alumni guests who are leading academics and professionals, and a graduating batch of 2024.
Let us begin this momentous occasion with a shlok from Hita Upadesh, written by Sri Narayan Pandit. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadhyati patratam, patratva dhanamapnoti, dhanadharma tata sukham.
Means knowledge makes one humble, humility begets worthiness, worthiness creates wealth and enrichment, enrichment leads to right conduct, and right conduct brings contentment.
मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ हम दीप प्रज्वलन से करेंगे। दीपक ज्ञान, प्रगति और सकारात्मक ऊर्जा का प्रतीक है। We invite our guest of honor, Architect Yashin Vibhakar, Honorary Director Parisar Trust, Shri Kiran Bhai Patel, Honorary Secretary Parisar Trust, Srimati Kavita Ben Patel, Honorary Trustee Parisar Trust, Srimati Chhaya Ben Patel, Honorary Trustee Parisar Trust, Shri Chiranjeev Patel, Dean APID and Trustee Parisar Trust, Professor Shruti Shah, Design Chair Professor Vijay Arya, and In-Charge Principal Professor Vijay Sudhar. Together on the stage to light the lamp and symbolize the commencement of this ceremony. शुभं करोतु कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदां शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते।
Thank you for the honors. On this joyous note, may we request our Honorary Director, Shri Kiran Bhai Patel, to open the ceremony formally.
Good morning, everyone. I now declare the 39th convocation open.
Thank you. We request Architect Yashin Vibhakar, Professor Shruti Shah, and Shri Kiran Bhai Patel to please take their seat on the dais. Now we will welcome Professor Shruti Shah for the opening address and introduction of our guest of honor.
Good morning, everyone. Yashin,
Mr. Kiran Bhai, members of Parisa Trust, faculty members, parents and students of APID, a very, very warm welcome to you all. On the onset of a beautiful winter morning, we've gathered here for the 39th graduation day at APID Vallabh. The campus is filled with excitement of the future, some anxiety of its immediate realities, nostalgia of the free spirit that as a student you have enjoyed, and of course the pride as you receive your completion certificate. This is a batch who graduated pandemics and knows how to steer without resources, without friends, and also without real studios. You will do exceedingly well. While the world is filled with pluralities, the setting is global. Yet, we have been sensitized to design that impacts immediate context while being consciously aware of the larger context. Our inability as architects to cater to 90% of India's population may be of concern today, both as an educational institution and as responsible professionals. As young graduates in search for practice, you may need to find methods to include this majority. It may also require you to deal with the larger ecosystem while designing a sensitive microenvironment. The society has invested in you. It has invested in you to imagine realities in these challenging times, and you are fortunate to study in this unique institution. Be aware of its legacy while you and us both will continue to evolve while still rooted in this remote yet robust institution, APID. All the very best. Congratulations, graduates, and wish you have a wonderful morning. As we proceed further, I have the privilege and the pleasure to introduce our guest, an APID alumni, educator, architect Yashin Vibhakar. Yashin Vibhakar graduated from APID. He joined the second batch in 1981. He started his professional career in 1982 when, after his second semester, he joined the erstwhile Patel and Grover as an assistant model maker. He continued working since then. He left without graduating to start a practice at Rajkot in 1986. He completed his graduation in 1997, when he took up a live project as his 10th semester thesis project. Later, this project was awarded as the most outstanding concrete building for the 1994-97 edition of the American Concrete Institute's Indian chapter in 1998. Post this award, he got to speak at various forums addressing various audiences, which led him to think in terms of getting into design education. As a part of the search committee looking for an academic head for IPSA Rajkot, he undertook the mantle himself. For him, it was a big step. Reducing his well-set practice to 1 day a week, hence taking a very steep pay cut and venturing into something where he had a passion but no prior experience. The school started in 2000, where Yashin took the structure of the syllabus, took to structuring the syllabus and to arrive at a relevant curriculum for times based on the principles and values. After just 3 years of relentless effort, IPSA started finding its feet and became a preference for students and faculty eager to share a new way of learning. Yashin, in his own words, tends to get uncomfortable when things get comfortable. Such a feeling started coming over him in late 2003. In 2004, he undertook a 9-week journey while still at IPSA with the purpose of getting lost so he could find himself afresh. During this journey, Yashin decided to dismantle his practice completely and only focus on institution building. However, he faced headwinds and decided to change course. He joined Suzlon in 2006 as Head of Learning Initiatives and Corporate Social Responsibility, initially and thereafter became Head of Operational Excellence, a position he still holds. His expertise lies in improving productivity. This he does by creating mechanisms to get everyone to focus and contribute to the vital few and removing noise in decision making. He was responsible for creating a brief as well as facilitating its adoption for Suzlon to get a LEED Platinum and Terry Griha 5-star rating for their corporate headquarters in Pune. Yashin works from location, which means he travels extensively and operates with the team from location. Besides his education in architecture, reading books and traveling, he considers having good teachers as fellow travelers and Vipassana as the key influence contributing to his outlook. Yashin looks forward to his retirement and intends to spend time encouraging learning with joy. We have him here today and for more years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Without further ado, let's welcome our guest of honor, Architect Yashin Vibhakar, for the convocation address.
Good morning to my fellow idiots, as we used to call ourselves. It's a very, very exhilarating feeling to be here at my alma mater. This place has significantly made me what I am today. It has been a significant part in my being and becoming. It has formed me as well as reformed me in so many ways. So I'm extremely happy being here. And before I start my commencement thoughts with you, I would like to say a few thank yous as well as commend the team. The first thank you to Shruti for a splendid introduction. I actually am also amazed at myself, the way you said it. The other key thank you is also I got an opportunity to speak with a lot of students today, young students, and learning from them how they are seeing things. That itself was phenomenal. It gave me an insight and took me back so many years back, more than 40 years back, as to how I was at that time. And also thank you to the APID management, the faculty and everyone, because giving this opportunity to speak also gives me, or it makes me, forces me to organize my thoughts and then gives the opportunity of sharing them with all of you. You're such a wonderful audience, and I'm so happy that I get the opportunity of sharing my experiences with all of you. On the onset, I would wish to commend both the batches, architecture as well as interior design. I just take a chance thinking that if you see more males, then that's architecture and the other one will be interior design, but I don't know how people are seated. Architect, keen observer. I want to commend you basically, especially for making it through. Like Shruti said, that I took so many years, and you made it through in the time that you had. But also because that when you started your journey, this professional academic journey, you started it during the COVID times. it must have been extremely difficult for you, the APID management, the faculty, the support staff, and your families, your parents and everyone. Because it was a new way of learning. It was altogether a new way of living. So in a way, that was also one type of graduation. You graduated from doing one way of doing things to another way of doing things. And that is commendable, especially to do it at this age and go through it, survive through it. Once you will be officially graduating soon, I understand that it's tomorrow, you must have surely realized by now that you are graduating all the time. You are being and you are becoming. Life is also about how many lifetimes you live in this brief period between birth and death. It is the variety of experiences, the diversity of those experiences, the intensity that you had, which makes it more special than just the number of years that you lived during that time. Further, like I was speaking with some of the students today in the morning, they told me that, well, learning never ends, and I agree with them. Learning never ends. If that ends, meaningful life ends. You may be biologically living, but meaningful life ends with learning stops. So never stop being a student. One good thing about effective design education is that it irrevocably makes you cross a threshold. You can no longer be your own self. I remember a faculty from here, Ingreji, he had once told me that you have crossed a threshold. He always had an issue with me. We love each other, but he always used to complain to me about myself. And one day he said, you have crossed a threshold. And I said, now what's the problem I did? Because I just crossed a small part. Because I tend to speak. When I speak, I tend to walk. I speak with my hands and I also walk. I talk. So then I said, what's the problem? He said, now you can never return. You have crossed it. I've done my job as a faculty. And I realized that it's so true. Design education, it never ever, once you've received it, it never ever allows you to be your old self again. You have a very different way of seeing, So whilst everyone in life is constantly transforming, as design students, as design graduates, you will realize it a little more because you are more aware than the rest. So the intensity is more. So never say you have arrived. You will always be arriving, always being and becoming. No finality is ever final. And do not feel guilty if your stance changes. Don't be apologetic about it. Like I was again in the morning speaking with students and they said that first I thought this, then I thought this, I convinced my parents for one thing, then I said now I've changed my decision. Never ever feel apologetic. Because as facts change, opinions change. As new experiences come into our lives, we are no longer the same person, we become a different person. So don't ever be apologetic if your stance changes. Sometimes it may even change, like it swings like a pendulum between two extremes. It will narrow down with time. Don't rush it. Let it be, And that's how, look at it as if it's helping you mature and evolve into being and finding your own true self. Allow that to be. The other beauty of such an education as what all of you have received and are receiving also is that even if you leave the profession, the profession will never leave you. You are done for life. You have transformed. You can never be your own self again. I've been working for about a little more than 4 decades, average of the last 19 years or so. I've been in the corporate sector, not doing architecture per se. So as head of operational excellence, my job, key job, is always bringing transformation. So every organization, there are always opportunities, there are always problems. So my job is to identify those and bring conceived transformation solutions and execute them. It's funny, but I use the same design principles that I learned here. Subtractive design, design processes, everything remains the same. It's just that I'm applying it in a different environment. So this education will always stay with you, irrespective of what you do. And you will be able to make good use of it. Believe in it, keep on practicing it. Practicing it will make it even better. And what happens with this education is that spatial design and elemental design, it helps you see things in a very different way, And they teach you to deal with variables. With the variables, you start seeing the nuances. So you can construct scenarios that if this happens, this is the way I go. If this happens, this is the way I go. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But you start future-proofing by creating various scenarios, figuring out what is common between them and what's the point of deviation. At what point do things become different? And it's these subtle things that you're able to see. It helps you always be in control when in reality nothing is in control. Things are always moving. But you always are sure that as a captain of the ship that you are piloting, in the rough weathers. Whatever comes, I'll be able to take it through. And this is what design education gives you. So never disrespect your education, never speak ill about it. It's a fantastic thing, and never devalue it by just doing things for no consideration. The consideration should always be there. People have to realize it, and you have to educate people, make them realize that how much value it brings to them. So, like I used to make these things, small changes, and everything I could change. One small but critical change, and the whole flavor transforms. We have this statement, less is more. That statement didn't just come from nowhere. There's a lot of thought behind it. And a good designer can do the most with the least resources, figuring out how each one counts. And that's what we would expect from each one of you to do. So in the allotted time, I shall structure my thoughts, my address to you in 3 parts. The first part is I will share some of the enduring questions I've had in my life and how they have shaped me and they continue to shape me through time. Then I will narrate 2 anecdotes and how these questions, have worked with them. And the third one, thereafter, the third part, I'll share my message and we will go about that how I would like all of you to live your life further. It's more okay, fine. The first part, the questions. All of us have questions. Too much black coffee, you need water. Thank you. All of us have questions, and it's funny, answer to those questions raise even more questions. Because you question every answer, right? But what happens with time, that these questions, they start getting refined. and it starts becoming an enduring quest. You know, your probing becomes a quest. This has been my experience. The earliest questions I remember having was, who am I and why am I here? This occurred to me when I was still a very young child, living in London, United Kingdom. And I used to look at my neighbors, and the neighbors' kids, they used to look at me, and they used to consider me as different. I didn't consider them as different. I could understand them. But maybe because of the color of my skin, the food we ate, their common faith, which was not practiced by my family, all these things probably made it look as if I'm different. Then still, when we were very young, moved to India, even here I was not accepted. Here also I was considered as different. Though I understood everyone here, they thought I'm different. And as a youngster, till quite a few years, I used to always feel that being different was a handicap, you know, but not anymore. I actually realized that it gave me perspective. It gave me the opportunity to see things where other people could not see. Besides that, I could see things that they could not perceive, as well as see things the way they could perceive. That was a tremendous benefit I got, perspective. Like today in the morning when I was speaking to the students, they were talking about, I was talking with first year students also, and I said, what has changed? Then they said that first we used to look at a tree, and now when we look at a tree, it's a different tree. We are seeing so much in it, we never quite saw it that way. The perspective that they said our perspectives have changed, and I think that's tremendous. And this has also helped me in many ways. I'm working in an Indian multinational, and it also helps me bridge cultural divides, especially in situations where we have people who are violently arguing but essentially saying the same thing, but believing the other person is saying something different. So my role over there starts becoming translating English to English, because you just have to say it in another way and the other person understands it. And this is how perspective helps. This is how being different, having differing experience helps. And it has helped me at least, and I believe, and whomever I have spoken with, I've seen it as helped them too. Architecture and design are considered as slow start professions. We tend to be victims of our own integrity. I don't know if you, how much you read, but if you have read this biography of Michelangelo, the sculptor, you know, this book known as The Agony and the Ecstasy. In that he says, because there was always a complaint that everyone had about him. And he said, I can't do it. I'm a victim of my own integrity. I'm going to do it the way it should be done, no other way. He had fights with Pope Julius, you know, from the Sistine Chapel. It will only be done the way it needs to be done. He was a perfectionist. So, but make no mistake. Questioning is central to integrity. However, a flawed sense of integrity may restrain you from making beneficial decisions. It was here at APID, Master Pingle he helped us develop a sort of an awareness of how to see the whole and the part. So whenever we're designing, then we would say, okay, you've done this. He said, then as an artist, what we do when we design, then we have to move back. And then we see the picture with the frame. So he taught us how to see the part and how to see the whole. the power of the parts also, and the whole. So he used to tell us that balance, a very important principle of design, along with harmony, emphasis, focus on those pieces. Balance consists of the yin and the yang. The positive and the negative, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. That is what balance is. Balance is not about sterile purity. It includes all the pluralities, like what Shruti was speaking in her opening address. That it's about a diversity, it's about diversity. If things are monolithic, you can't have balance. To have balance, you need to have diversity, you need to have plurality. And we have to expand our thinking. And that's what India used to teach us. But over the years, I have learned, he didn't teach us only that, he taught us something very different. He taught us awareness. And with awareness, we learned detachment. Detachment became easy for us to practice. We are extremely engrossed, and the very next moment we could be detached. It brought in objectivity in the way we could think, we could see things. And that was tremendous because it's even helping me today. Because of this, like I said earlier, our perspective is becoming richer and they become sharper. Now, practicing awareness, it helps me in very different ways. It has helped me also tremendously. One of the ways it's helped me is that it allows me to see life in very simple terms and uncluttered terms. Otherwise, there's so many things, there's so much of noise, you know. You remove the noise, then you see things in simple terms. And one of the perspectives I have in life, which I've shared with many of my fellow travelers, is that people are always challenged and conflicted between two ends. At one end, you have your fears, concerns, and apprehensions. At the other end, you have your desires, your yearnings, your aspirations. Now, why this conflict and challenge happens, according to me, I believe because of two reasons. We live either in the past or in the future, seldom in the present. So we are not aware of what's happening. We worry about the past, we are anxious about the future. But if you live in the moment, these things don't happen. And like what Shruta said about me about Vipassana, Vipassana has also helped me tremendously in strengthening this awareness, having equanimity at every point in life. Now, so there are two reasons I said that. One is that people are living in the past or in the future. The other reason which I have found is, or which I believe is, that people are not comfortable being themselves. They want to be someone else. They are not comfortable about being under their own skin. They want to be someone else. That's fake. And when you have anything fake, it's a challenge, it's a conflict. The only thing original is you yourself. So, this is what I have seen. But I've also seen that people who are having these questions, who are all the time probing, their life is also there full of struggles, Everyone has to struggle for survival. But their struggle is markedly different from the rest. And that is the wish I would want all of you to have. If you are all the time questioning, probing, searching, in your quest in life, your life will be markedly different. And design education gives you the tools to do that in a very, very profound way. Whenever I speak about this with others, in a way I have
sort of been able to permeate this into them. I hope, to some measure, I'm successful with all of you too. Sometimes these questions, they remain buried for a long, long time. They remain dormant. But then they do sprout. And when they sprout, the search intensifies. Otherwise the search is there, but going at a slow pace. So this leads me to the two anecdotes. The first anecdote is related to my brush with architecture education. Mind you, I have had two brushes. One is when I was subjected to it when I was here. The other where I subjected others to it, which was at IPSA. Well, that's at a school at Rajkot, where I developed the whole curriculum and decided how this school should evolve. Now, this is of course of that place. Like some people used to joke that here you were oppressed and over there you were the oppressor. In a way, it's true. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, you sometimes feel that you could have done better, but that's hindsight. That's the benefit of it, and one wants to be honest about it. Now, in the very first year of undertaking that assignment, because I, like Shruti had mentioned in the introduction, I had no prior experience. It was a passion. I realized this is something which is beyond me. I found it extremely challenging. I realized that the teaching, the facilitation of learning architecture and design was much, much more complex and difficult than just learning it by oneself. So I changed my strategy for the next batch. I said that this is not sustainable, I can't last so many years. The students also can't last for so many years. So I said we need to change our strategy. So what I did was, I decided to create a pull instead of a push. I would not tell students, I would ask students. And this is what actually changed. It removed the negative stress tremendously, and it also leveled it. So I changed the induction process. So in the very first few minutes of the induction of the new batch that came in, and that kept on coming in every year, I would tell them that since you have decided to undertake a course in architecture at this place, our karmas, our destinies are now interlocked. Whatever you do affects me, whatever I do affects you. So we need to have a proper introduction. I would wish to know who you are for my reference. So I would hand out A4 size papers to everyone. And then I would tell them that if they could pen their introduction for my reference. After silently going through all the introductions, I tell them that what I've received are references of where you come from, what your parents are doing, your families are doing, what they do. I said, I don't want that. I want to know what makes you yourself, Please let me know that. So again, I hand out A4 size papers to everyone. And again, the pens are fast, they're moving and they're writing. A little slower than the first time. But then, of course, I get a full page from everyone, and then I read it. This time, they're writing about their hobbies, few of their experiences. I said, okay, this is interesting, but then it's not meeting the criteria. So I take care to apologize. I said that I should have been a little more clearer in my communication to you. So I said, okay, let me explain it this way. Suppose you wake up one day and you are now suffering amnesia, selective amnesia. You have forgotten your relationships, social or biological. You have forgotten about your affiliations, religious or ideological. You have forgotten about the locations you've been to or you have dreamt of. Now, but all your survival skills are intact. But survival is not an issue. You are in a place of plenty and safety. Could you please now introduce yourself? Who are you? This time the pens are on the paper but not moving. I allow a lot of agonizing time because eye contact happens. You allow that agonizing time. And then after some more time, I call off the exercise. I share an insight to them that 17 plus years you have been living in this body of yours. And this thought must have come, but you have not invested enough in exploring it. That's not okay. Then I also tell them that I didn't do this to sport with your feelings or to mess around with your feelings. It was done to nudge you into an unexplored area. Because if you don't have a probing mind, if you don't have a quest, it's going to be difficult. And having one will help you having a meaningful education which will lead to a meaningful life, a richer life. So that's how we would start. Then a few more minutes into the induction, I would raise another question that what is a good student? Who is a good student? Again, I would get responses that someone who is compliant, someone who's conformist. I said, no, let's look at it in a different way. A student is the one who's studying, who again has a quest. And then we say, if you don't ask questions, you're not a student. Why do you accept dogma? The whole idea about being a student and being a student in life is having questions all the time and having the right questions, having them consistently and getting deeper into that. So then, I used to talk about Mahendra Modi, who was also a founder, trustee of APID. He used to tell us that every time, whenever you see something, ask the question, why? We took it so seriously that our batch was known as the Y batch, the Y class. And further, he also told us that whenever you get an answer, then question the answer. Why? Now that questioning has helped us tremendously. It shaped us into very different people. We all became uniquely different, yet we could communicate with each other. It was a very, very rich class. Though we were financially very poor, but we were very rich in terms of ideas and in terms of our thoughts. If you are rich there, the other riches always follow, and it's been a proof for all of us at least. So this sort of questioning, it led us to become individuals, not just another brick in the wall, It made a big difference to us. So later during that session, just to check whether the students have become students or yet not, I would ask another question. I would make a statement that with the rising population, now the number of fingerprints and irises are limited. So now they would start getting duplicated. Invariably, one student would raise the hand, and say, no, we don't believe you. And I would be extremely happy because it gave me an opportunity to tell them that, well, if you have a unique iris and a unique fingerprint, you have a divine right to be an individual, to be yourself. Don't ever try to be anyone else. You can learn from other people. You can have role models. Say that I want these qualities, I must aspire and acquire those. But I don't want to be that person. I am myself. That is what we encouraged every student to do. And then, since they had raised this, and I would first also congratulate them on graduating. I said, now you have graduated to students from zombies. Till now you were zombies, you were not students. And that I still believe, that a person who is not questioning, who is not trying to understand, you're just a living dead. Let us not be that. Let us move beyond it. And the other thing I would tell them is, always learn how to leverage your individuality rather than just trying to fit in. You can leverage your individuality and become part of a good composition. Like in a cricket team, if everyone is a good bowler, it doesn't work. You need a wicket keeper, you need an opening batsman, you need an all-rounder, you need a left arm, you need a right arm, you need a fast. It's a combination of things that make a good composition. So leverage your strengths, be that individual, celebrate that individuality, and then fit into the composition. You will be still accepted for your uniqueness rather than you being as someone else, because then otherwise you're a duplicate. So let's not be duplicates, let's be originals. So this brings me to the second anecdote, something narrated to me when I was about your age, and it has stayed with me ever since. There was a young surgeon who had decided to start his practice, so he came to his hometown and he took up his abandoned family house. So it was a large plot, and the family house was at one end of the house, then there was a tree, and then there was a road, coming inside the approach. So after the initial struggle years, he expanded the house and made it into a C with the tree in the middle. And after a few more years, he added his garage, with the two corners open. He made it into a quadrangle with the tree in the middle. The tree had witnessed all of this, but then it had lived its life, its course of life, And the surgeon and his family, everyone were very attached to the tree. But then they couldn't keep it, because if you keep it, it was dangerous, very unstable, and it could have crashed any time into the surrounding buildings. So they decided, but it was very difficult to fell it because you had built everything around it. So they got an expert tree cutter, looked for an expert tree cutter who could cut the tree in a certain way. He found one old tree cutter, slightly whimsical, and he came, saw the place, and he said, hey, this is a unique problem. I may take some time before I can offer and execute a solution. But I'll come and make my studies. So he started coming there, seeing the place. And the surgeon would keep on observing him from his surgery and then say that, hey, have I hired a genius or have I hired a stuntman, Because what's this chap doing? Picking up some sand, throwing it like this, or tapping on the wood. And then the surgeon would go and also speak with him a little and ask him that, what are you doing? How are things going? And then the tree cutter would explain to him that this is how I'm thinking, that I will tie some of the ropes here on the branches, some at the trunk. I will peg them, anchor them to the ground over here. And then I would strike the axe at this point, at this angle, with this velocity. And probably the tree will fall this way at these places. It will ricochet and things will fall into place. And the job will be done. And then he says that I think it can be done this way, so we will do it on this day at this time. Now the day came and the time was approaching. The moment of truth was imminent. It could happen at any point now. The surgeon and his family, they had their hearts in their mouth. What's going to happen? Because it could destroy their entire property. If not entire, then some part of it. The moment was imminent. The tree cutter, he takes the axe, he looks very ardently at a point and he strikes it. Clean strike. And the tree falls with a big thud. And it falls as expected and where expected. The surgeon is ecstatic. He said, "Hey, this is fantastic. This is even more than surgical precision. How can we do it so well?" In contrast, the tree cutter was a little dumbstruck and he just stood there. And after a while he muttered, "The wind was right." Many times in hindsight, I have this question that things went off so well. How did it happen? There were so many odds, but it still happened. And then with years, I have realized that there are things in this universe that are going to happen that way. We have to play a role. They happen through us. We have this word nimit. It happens through us. But we have to do our part, and we have to do it with the full intensity of effort and intent. We should never be dishonest there. Because if you are dishonest in your effort or intent, it will come to haunt you. We can only play our part. Things happen if we allow them to happen. So, sorry. Yeah. So, there's a universal energy which I believe, there's a flow which we need to tap in, and then you become part of that flow. So life is that simple. We must give up the notion that we are driving everything. Yes, we have a role. But things happen because they're going to happen. We have to put in our effort and facilitate what must happen. Also, we must work on things that we want not to happen. That's fine. What should not happen, we should put in our efforts as to what should not happen and make it not happen. But whatever happens, if things that should not have happened did happen, or the other way around, it's fine. It was probably meant to be that way. But you have to be honest in your effort and in your intent. If you are not doing that, then you have been dishonest. And it's a life that you will then believe was not well lived. So this is my advice to you, that it's always important to strive and do your best in whatever situation. Even if you know that you're losing, you never know when things change. So this brings me to the last part. How do I become a better version all the time? My realization is always look for the greater good whenever you're doing something, anything. When you're conceiving anything, executing anything, just look at the greater good, not the other way around. I do this, then it probably will help. No. Can it help everyone? Then I do it, Now, doing so, if you do it things that way, it will help you tap into a universal energy, And then you will start having a very fulfilling and enriching life. This is my advice to you. Life can be that simple if you let it be. Like John Lennon used to say, let it be, So graduate every moment by having the right questions in this journey of life, discovering more about the you of you, nurturing your individuality, and thereby enrich the harmony of the world with your contribution. Wishing you the very best, and thank you all for the opportunity for coming and allowing me to share my thoughts with all of you. Thank you very much. I'm very proud.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your invaluable words. of wisdom and experience that will inspire our graduates and all present here. Now, I would like to invite Shruti ma'am for felicitating Yashin sir with the essentials. Moving on, we would like to invite our graduating scholar, Ritu Motwani, for architecture to share her experience at APIED.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, family, friends and fellow graduates, first of all, it is very difficult to condense the 5 years of our journey into few minutes, but I'll try my best. And today, as I stand here before you guys, it's hard to believe that the journey that brought us here began with such an uncertainty. We were the batch that started off full of hope and excitement, only to have our world turned upside down during the pandemic. But through all the challenges, through all the moments of fear and doubts, we didn't just survive, we thrived. And we came back stronger, more determined, and more resilient than ever. We may be the class that is being considered unique or the odd one out, but I feel that we were the ones who had to learn in ways that no other batch had to. And we were the ones who missed out on the campus experience that most students take for granted, but for us it was a valuable thing because we didn't get it in the initial stage and then we realized that how important it was. But maybe that's exactly what makes us special, and we had to adapt, innovate and learn to be resourceful in ways that nobody expected. Someone once said that rules are meant to be broken, and if there's one thing this class knows, it's how to break the rules with the most creativity, humor and passion. From dancing Garba in the studio, I hope everybody remembers that, and to skipping early morning classes, we have rewritten the playbook of what it means to be an architecture student. But despite all the laughters and chaos, we always came back to what really mattered, our love for design, our commitment to learning, and our desire to create something meaningful. We entered into this campus when we were young teenagers, maybe 17, 18, everybody was in a very different stage of life, and through these 5 years we have evolved immensely, and I believe that the transition period from the teenage to the adulthood is something which is very important, and that is what shapes us. And this APIED campus has shaped us in a very unnatural way, I believe. I can tell you guys, you can see different aspirations and inspirations in everybody's eyes sitting here. So thank you to the campus, and to our professors, thank you for being the guiding lights who pushed us to reach beyond our limits. You saw potential in us when we were in doubt ourselves. And to the management, thank you for finding ways to keep us going even when the world seems standstill. And I believe that this campus has always valued our opinions, and even the management or the faculty have been supportive to us when we were against them or with them in all the times. And I would want to thank to the families and friends present here, and to my fellow students. What an incredible journey it's been. We have laughed together, cried together, supported each other through some of the toughest times we have ever faced. We may not have had the typical university experience, but we created memories that will last a lifetime. And the friendships, the challenges, the growth, these are the things that which will stay with us for a lifetime. So I believe that we are the architects of tomorrow and the future is ours to build with passion, with purpose, and with the strength we have gained from each other. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 19 SA and 19 IDA as well. And thank you to the campus and faculties and everybody present here.
Family, and hope everybody is doing well, and honorable guests. I'm truly honored to stand before such a distinguished gathering of guests, parents, and obviously my colleagues. Thank you all for being here. And who would have thought that our academic odyssey would begin not in bustling classrooms but in the digital world, and we embarked on an unexpected journey navigating the uncharted waters of online learning. I remember those early days when we fumbled with Google Meet and mastered the art of the virtual handshake and perfected the art of the mute button. We survived the countless technical glitches, endured endless assignments and redos, and somehow managed to ace the virtual juries. Through it all, we've all forged unbreakable bonds, our companionship and strengthened by shared struggles and late night sessions. Obviously, guys, night sabne mari hai. As we transitioned to the physical campus, a new chapter unfolded. We traded our pajamas for professional attire and our beds for uncomfortable studio seats, and somehow managed to we navigated the corridors of APID, memorized the canteen menu, and mastered the art of procrastination. We'll never forget those all-nighters before deadlines, the last-minute printouts, and the countless cup of coffee consumed. We learned the true meaning of teamwork, resilience, and power of caffeine. We'll never forget the chaos of those adaptive reuse juries, internals. We all were scrambling to finish our presentations, sending countless PDFs to the printers, and pleading with the dialogue, please jaldi kar do na, aaj jury hai. And who would not forget the nightmarish jury that experience that followed. Agree, public? But amidst the chaos, we learned the valuable lesson about time management, teamwork, and the importance of planning beforehand. It was a whirlwind of stress, laughter, and unforgettable memories. And also those late night at the campus pleading with the Mahesh Kaka for a few more precious moments to just perfect our pin-ups. And as we stand on the brink of a new era, we reflect on the incredible journey we have shared. We have created memories that will last forever for our lifetimes, from the silly group chats to the intense study sessions, from the heart-pounding excitement of fests and nerve-wracking jury presentations. Every moment has shaped us into the individual what we are today. So let's raise a toast to us, IDians, and the COVID batch that defined all the odds and emerged stronger than ever. May our future be as bright as our hopes and dreams. And let's give a big round of applause to APID, our second home, for shaping us into the individuals what we are today.
थैंक यू सिमरन। इन रंगों के आकाश में कल उड़ान भर लेंगे हम, असफलता की सीढ़ी से सीख के आगे बढ़ेंगे हम। कई सालों की मेहनत से इतिहास रचने चले हैं हम, आज की नई उम्मीद से अपनी नींव को रचाएंगे हम। To celebrate the remarkable achievement of the graduating batch 2024, their unwavering dedication and tireless efforts that mark the final of their education at APID, we request architect Yashin Vibhakar to distribute completion certificate to our graduating batch.
We start with 19 SA first. Adnan Vohra. Akshita Srivastav. Ali Asgar. Anand Patel.
भाविन वसानी, भूमिका अंबानी, दर्शना कसुंदरा, दीप कनेरिया, दीप तंदिल, देवेन जेसानी,
देवी पटेल, ध्रुविका मकवाना, देवारा, हनी मेहता, हर्षिव भानुशाली, हेद भावसार, हिमांशु जंगीद, जयनाम कुमार चौधरी, जीनल जैन,
कल्पन दलवाड़ी, कविश ठक्कर, केविन करोडिया, खुशी शाह, खुशी शास्त्री, कुशल मदानी, मनस्वी व्यास,
मिलिंद पटेल, मितेश प्रजापति, नैना श्रीवास्तव, निसर्ग सेठ, पार्थ जैन, प्रिंसी सुथारिया, प्रियांशी तन्ना, राधिका दंगर, राज पटेल, रिद्धि गोहेल, रितु मोतवानी, सौम्या भंडारी, शैलजा ठाकुर,
शिवम पुरोहित, श्रीशैल गोस्वामी, सृष्टि त्रिवेदी, तुषार शर्मा, उत्सव पटेल, वरुण वोरा, विधि त्रिवेदी, व्रज प्रजापति, युक्ता ठाकुर, सेजल प्रजापति,
सृष्टि पार्थे, हर्षिता पोरिया, केयूर पटेल, पार्थ पटेल, रुशिल कानानी, केविन बारद. Now we'll start with 20 ID. Darshan Thakur, देवांशी ठाकर, धृति पटेल, फॉरम मंकोडिया, हनी परमार, क्रिश सोनी, रीवा भगत, रोशन परासरा, सिमरन चौधरी, झील ठाकुर,
आश्वी थेसिया, कृपा कड़िया, प्रियांशी शाह, रिद्धि शाह, संजना मोदी, अलेफिया लकड़ावाला, रश्मि मखीजानी, सृष्टि चौधरी, विधि पारेख,
ऋषित मस्के, मेधा पनवार, सोनाली मजुमदार, Thank you and congratulations to our dearly students. Let us now mark the occasion and set intentions for future responsibilities with a pledge. Requesting all the students to rise at their seats for the pledge. I, as a qualified architect or a designer, solemnly affirm to design consciously, practice ethically, within the gambit of the universe, valuing coherence between life and matter. I promise to hold up the values of humanity in person and profession. Thank you.
As we move towards the end, we would like to invite our in-charge principal, Professor Vijay Suthar, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaste and good afternoon all. Honorable Chief Guest Architect Yasin Vibhagar, as Team Director Sri Kiranbhai Patel, Honorary Secretary Srimati Kavitaben Patel, Honorary Trustee Chiranjeev Patel, Honorable Trustee and Dean Professor Stuti Shah, our Design Chair Professor Vijay Arya, esteemed faculty, proud parents, and dear graduates. It is an honor to propose the vote of thanks today as we celebrate the accomplishment of our graduates, making not just an end, but the beginning of new journey. On behalf of APID, I extend heartfelt gratitude to our Chief Guest Architect Yasin Vibhagar for your inspiring presence and words that have motivated us all. A special thanks to the management for your unwavering support and guidance which has shaped our institution. To our dedicated faculty, thank you for being guiding lights, imparting knowledge and life skill to our students. To parents, your trust and sacrifices have been the backbone of our graduates' success. And to our graduates, this is a day is yours. As you embark on a new adventure, carry forward the value and lesson learned here. Finally, my appreciation goes to the organizing team, staff, and volunteers who made this event successful. Let us carry the spirit of gratitude and pride as we conclude this ceremony. Congratulations to our graduates, and may you shine brightly in your future endeavors. Thank you all for being a part of this special day. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before we disperse, I invite graduating students and guests to assemble at the entrance foyer for the group photograph and planting tree. This activity signifies growth, sustainability, and enduring spirit of design. Also, you are requested to collect souvenirs from outside auditorium. Now I request everyone to rise up for the national anthem. request everyone to gather at entrance.